Well, hello, guys. This is Bartholomew Orr. Join me on this journey as we chronicle the stories and lifestyles of some of the world's most innovative people who will share how their faith, wisdom, and direction help them to change lives and make a difference in these unprecedented times. It is my prayer that these out-of-the-box conversations with extraordinary individuals will help us all think differently about faith and doing the unthinkable. And today, my conversation will be with nationally recognized event strategist and entrepreneur, Cynthia Daniels. Welcome, Cynthia.
Thank
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Grateful to have the conversation this
Yes.
time of just spending with you. I feel like we've already had the interview and the conversation before the
Exactly.
conversation
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's just been great hearing your story.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been an amazing testimony, to say the least.
Oh my goodness. So for those who may not be familiar with
Mhm.
Cynthia Daniels, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So as I mentioned to you earlier off air, I am an Atlanta native. I've been in Memphis for the past 13 years, so I consider Memphis home now. I am chief event strategist of Cynthia Daniels and Company. So I like to think of myself as an event planner that creates experiences, kind of out of the box things that you normally don't see.
See, I like that out of the box experiences.
Yes.
So give me an example.
Well, one of my favorite events is the Soulful Food Truck Festival.
Okay.
We've seen food truck festivals day in and day out, but I thought if we're in Memphis, the most soulful city in the world,
Wow.
we have to have live music. So I created a space,
Mm.
where they're Black-owned food trucks. We've got live music. We've got things for kids.
Wow.
And to me, I just didn't see anything like that in Memphis for our community beforehand.
And that's a Cynthia's idea.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. And then they
Absolutely.
tell me Vegan Fest.
Yes, coming out of the pandemic, I noticed a lot of people were eating plant-based food, trying to be healthier. And I thought, okay, I've done food festivals day in and day out, but I like a challenge. And I thought, well, there is this small population of vegans in Memphis. Well, to my surprise, we had about 7,000 people at the first vegan
I was one of them.
festival in Memphis, Tennessee. So yeah, there are a lot of vegans represented.
That's right. Among all of you that are still eating
Hey, barbecue.
yeah,
you know?
all of the barbecue. But hey, there are now some great tasting vegan barbecue. People are
Yes.
doing everything with jackfruit and
It's truly incredible what they're doing.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So a native Atlantean
Yes.
moving to Memphis, and that's a different, usually it's the other way around.
Absolutely.
Memphis moving to Atlanta. But tell
Yeah.
me about your upbringing, your childhood.
Oh, so I had a wonderful childhood. I grew up in a two-parent home in Atlanta, Georgia, Southwest Atlanta. So, definitely with Maynard Jackson was the mayor. Then we had Andrew Young. So I was able to see a lot of Black leaders growing
Yeah.
up. Both of my parents were in law enforcement.
Oh my goodness.
So there was no trouble for me and my brother to get into. And I actually grew up Methodist, Who's United Methodist Church. So I had a
Really?
really, really good childhood, in my opinion.
That is great.
Yeah.
And went off to school. Did you stay in Atlanta going to school?
No, I wanted to get away, but not too far away. So I went
Okay.
to Alabama A&M University. So it's in
Okay.
Normal, Alabama, or Huntsville for people
Wow.
that don't know Normal, Alabama. And I went there for undergrad and graduate studies.
HBCU.
I absolutely knew I wanted to go to a HBCU. I actually wanted to go to Hillman College, but
Oh,
I
wow.
found out that wasn't a real college. Back in my
that's
day.
right. Different world.
Different world. A lot of your people may not know that. But yeah, so I started my freshman year in 1998. So back then, you actually had to call the university to have
Wow.
them mail an application to you. So I'm in the yellow pages looking for Hillman.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my God, it doesn't exist. But that show really influenced me in wanting
That's
to go
great.
to an HBCU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to tell off on your age a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm going on 42 this month.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I
That
love
is
it.
great.
Yeah.
That is great. And see, Alabama A&M. I had a nephew that went there. I've
Okay.
had church members to go there.
Wow.
Great school.
It is.
And it's incredible that we still support these HBCU.
Absolutely. And for me, I definitely did a lot of different tours right before I made my final decision, but it was the story of the founder, William Hooper Council. He actually was a slave, as
Mm.
most people that started HBCUs
Yeah.
were. the actual spot where he was sold, the auction block where the bell was, where they ring, every time they bring up a new
Yeah.
slave, he actually started his first classroom at that same bell
Oh, get
and
out of
grew the
here.
campus around that. So for me, the
Really?
significance of that story, I said, I want to go to this college campus.
Memphis, Tennessee
hmm
have Auction Street,
We do. Yeah.
and many people don't realize,
Mhm.
but the reason why it's called Auction Street is because that's where blacks
Absolutely.
were auctioned at.
It is something. So when I live near the Mississippi River now, and so every
Mm.
time I pass it, I really feel like, what my ancestors were going through, the good and the bad.
And to think about how they weaved faith
My God.
in the midst of all of that to
Absolutely.
make it through.
Yeah.
Again, something that people oftentimes don't realize,
Mhm.
but church started a lot of the schools were
Yes.
started right because of churches. They were held within church.
Yeah.
So faith shaped education
Absolutely.
in such a profound way.
Yes.
But tell me about your faith journey.
Oh, my faith journey. So I think like any child, you grow up in church, we spend a lot of Saturdays in, getting ready for church
Yeah.
ceremonies and not ceremonies, sermons the next day. Was a Girl Scout. So that was part of my church, who's
Wow.
United Methodist Church. So I feel like every weekend in elementary school, middle school, high school, spend a lot of time in church. Going to college, though, I really couldn't find a lot of Methodist churches that really spoke to my faith. And so I found that missionary Baptist churches,
Uh-oh.
that was a different type of journey, but I really enjoyed the services there. So really, church has always been very important to me. I always felt like in college, I was even the chaperone. Everybody, well, Cynthia's not going to do it. We can't do it. So
Yeah.
I think just remembering that even though you're not with your parents, that someone's
Right.
always watching you, God is watching you. So that's always just been a part of me, and even who I am today.
Now, Alabama A&M,
Yes.
there are a lot of primitive Baptists
Yes.
in the.
I went to a few of those.
Oh, okay.
That was going from Methodist to that was a little different.
Yes. So you settled. So now, are you still in Missionary Baptist?
No, I'm actually a member of Golden Gate Cathedral now.
Oh,
so
wow.
Bishop Stevens,
My
absolutely.
goodness.
So again, you just, I think in my journey, it's not about how you grew up; it's what feels right to you
Right.
in this season. And so I went to a lot of different churches, and I found that church spoke to me.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Our path go back a long way.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
Because his grandfather
Mm.
used to allow me to come and preach
No
when
way.
I was just a boy preacher. Yes.
Memphis,
And-
I tell you,
and see-
Memphis like Mayberry.
Look, and Bishop
Yeah.
is real close to my pastor, Dr. Sherman Helton. They're like brothers.
Wow.
And Bishop Stevens play.
I did not. I've never seen that.
Really?
Never. Really.
He's a musician.
I know Aaron does, but
Yeah.
really,
yeah.
he's been holding out. I got to get him on Sunday.
Now, I don't know when the last time he got on an instrument.
Wow.
But his grandfather
Okay.
and Pastor Morris, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, some great times
Okay.
as a because I started preaching when I was 11 years old.
And see, now I want to interview you. That is quite a
Yes.
calling at such a young age.
Dr. Sherman Helton baptized me at 9.
Okay.
I accepted my calling at 11. I was turning 12.
Wow.
I think licensed probably at 15, ordained at like 17. So, but Bishop Stevens,
Wow.
we've go back a long way. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're talking 30, 40 years. Yeah, but so I'm grateful that faith is still speaking to you.
Every day.
Even at this season of your life.
Absolutely.
And then, tell me about wisdom, because, here it is, you make a transition to
Sure.
Memphis,
Yes.
you start a company.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, how, what have you learned over these last couple of dozen of years?
Oh, wow. Well, first, I have to tell people that when I moved here, it was just strictly to work in human resources.
Mm.
I had no thoughts of becoming an entrepreneur, never even planned an event when I
Okay.
moved here.
Really?
So, right. So I want to definitely start there. For me, it was my only options for a social life or entertainment was going to Beale Street or going to clubs.
Okay.
At that time, that was not interesting for me. So I felt like there was a void in the young professional community. I
Mm.
didn't see the things that I saw back home in Atlanta. So I started creating, mixers and small things so like-minded people could connect and
Yeah.
get together. But fast forward, the more I created this community of events and people connecting, I noticed that I really wasn't that engaged in my daytime job and working in human resources. I
Mm.
found that the simplest things I couldn't get done. I was distracted, and there was this thing that kept me up at night, my passion. So I think anybody needs to know that you can discover your passion at any age. I was
I like that.
37 when I started my business.
Oh,
I
wow.
left a good job, I'm doing air quotes, to start my company. So I think I would just advise anybody, pay attention to your passion, pay
Mm.
attention to that thing that you just can't stop thinking about.
What is it that really just tug at that heart?
Yes, just every day.
Follow your
It's
dreams and your
God giving
passion.
you that vision. He wants you to do it.
Yeah. Talk about wisdom.
Yeah.
I think it's Simon Sinek that starts with start with the why, and
Yeah,
start because it is that question that really gives you the passion.
absolutely.
And when you can start asking and learning what is my passion of life,
Yes.
why am I here?
My
What,
purpose.
what's
Yeah.
my significance, and becomes that driving force to
Mhm.
make things happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you did not have any event planning experience?
Not at all. Not at all. And I would say volunteering helped me to
Hmm.
really discover it a little bit more,
Okay.
kind of fine tune my skill set. I got involved with Memphis Urban League Young Professionals very early on in Memphis.
Okay.
And I think if anybody's listening, you've ever been on a committee, because there's always a committee and it starts with about 20 people. And then once it's time for the event or that thing to happen, it's about two.
Yeah.
But I was always that one person or myself and someone else that always wanted to see it through. I
Okay.
came in with a lot of big ideas and I was just able to execute them. And of course, mistakes were made, but the more I was doing that, I was exposed to the national organization.
Hmm.
I'll never forget in 2012, my first National Urban League Conference was in New Orleans. I'm in the same room with President Barack Obama.
Oh my
The
goodness.
first night I'm there.
Wow.
And so I'm meeting all of these other young leaders all over the country. And that ignited me even more to say, well, what are you guys doing in Dallas and Houston, Atlanta, DC? And I'm like, well, we don't have that in Memphis. I
Hmm.
want to do that. And I literally just had big faith to say, oh, well, we're going to do this conference in
I like
Memphis.
that. I
We're going
like
to
that.
do this thing in Memphis because you guys are doing it. Why can't we have it?
So networking is
Yes.
so powerful.
Absolutely.
Rubbing shoulders
Yes.
and even volunteering. You mentioned
I volunteered for 5 years, and I don't know if millennials would do that today. But I think volunteering, being a servant, and
Mhm.
being and being selfless, you honestly learn more that way. And so that skill set stayed with me. So even after I aged out of the Urban League Young
Mhm.
Professionals, I still felt the need to do more for the community.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And many people, it's oftentimes been said that
Mhm.
your network really determines your net worth.
That is very true.
You
And
know, the
it's-
people that you rub shoulders with,
Absolutely.
hanging around, and then just getting ideas.
Yes, absolutely. And I tell anybody, I know another reason I'm here is because Memphis has some of the friendliest people. People meet you and they want to help you. They don't have any buy-in. They don't
Yeah.
want anything from you. They just want to see you be successful. And I love that about this city.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
So coming from Atlanta
Yes.
family,
Yes.
give me some of that wisdom that you heard growing up that's
Mm.
still with you today.
Oh my goodness. This is very cliche. Treat others as you want to be treated.
Mm.
That is the golden rule.
Yeah.
I still live by that. Always be there for family.
Mm.
That's really important to me. Even though I'm here by myself, I'm very connected to my family back home. And I think, I don't know, I hear my dad always saying, protect your community.
Mm.
He was very instrumental in that back home. So I think I'm very mindful of that and my
I like that.
elders.
I
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
like that. All right. So faith
Yes.
shaped where you are.
Yes.
You're following your passion. You started this company.
Yes.
And it's growing.
Yes.
You're rubbing shoulders with everyone. What's next for Cynthia Daniels?
What's next? Coming out of this pandemic, a lot of bigger a lot of big opportunities have gotten in front of me. So right now I'm working with the national organization Southern Black Girls, where we're going to do conferences all over the country.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're going to start in Birmingham next month. So that's really exciting. Working a lot with Shelby County, the Arts and Culture Committee. We're doing a lot of great things in the community, working in Binghamton, Fraser, Orange Mound,
Mm,
bringing art and different
yeah.
interests to those populations that may not be able to get out.
Hmm.
So just really open to all opportunities, and again venturing outside of Memphis, but still doing what I can in our community.
So are you mentoring other girls?
I am mentoring, absolutely. So I've gotten to a point now where I'm, 5 years as an entrepreneur, I have intentionally brought on about 12 individuals
Wow.
that have no event experience, but you can't learn if someone doesn't give you an
Yeah.
opportunity. So right now, they're learning the bare minimum, the basics, how to set up, how to break down events, but I feel like I owe it to them and
Mm,
to others to give them opportunities to learn.
that's great.
Yeah.
Now, who would you say were some of your mentors?
Ironically, someone that was not even in event planning initially,
Okay.
but Dr. Russ Wigginton, he's now the president of the National Civil Rights Museum.
Huh.
But very early on, when I was in the Urban Young Professionals, he was very instrumental to helping me see my potential. At the
Mm,
time, I thought, well, I'm just an HR person. That's all I do. And he's like, but you have these big ideas. He actually funded us, myself and some of my board, to go to these national conferences. So it was all
wow.
about exposure for
That's great.
him.
That's great.
And then, later on, I started working with wedding planners and other event planners. One of my mentors now, Olivia Ward, she
Huh.
really helps me just
Yeah.
hone my craft.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
Well, now, so direction. Where do
Mhm.
you see things headed?
Mhm.
Because these have been some unprecedented times that we are in.
They have been, and it tests your faith. I can remember in 2020, um, March 15th, 2020, I did my last big Soulful Food Truck Festival. We had about 6,000 people. That was on a Sunday. On that Monday, CDC said there are no more large gatherings, no more than 50 people. Then they came back and said, wait, no more than 10 people. So that just crumbled
Oh my
my
goodness.
my faith at the moment. But God just continued to speak to me and said, pay attention to what's happening. And so at the time, I started playing around in the virtual space.
Okay.
Everybody kind of jumped on Zoom and
Right.
doing lunch and learns, just something to give people some type of normalcy in the day.
And it's kind of going back, but
Sure.
even in the pandemic,
Yes.
so you were doing some virtual
I
events.
was, and it was really just to honestly, selfishly give me something to look forward to every day. But I found
Okay.
that my community just said, well, look, at 12 o'clock, I need to do something. I can't just sit on the couch all day.
Yeah.
So we just kind of met and lunch and learns and learning different topics. And so all of a sudden I became this expert to organizations
Oh,
and
wow.
nonprofits. Oh, we see you doing these lunch and learns. Can you come do this event for our company? And I thought, oh, well, let me really get up to speed on virtual events. So I would definitely say that from the technology side, I've been able to hone my skills
Mm,
with my business. And really, again, going back to the Memphis Vegan Festival, I would have never thought about
yeah.
vegans and other events had I not just had time to sit back and observe what's happening in the world. So just keeping up with the changes.
So keep up with the changes,
Yes.
and there are so many different
So
changes.
many.
What's next for Cynthia Danielson?
What's next for me? I would love to play in the international space.
Okay.
Actually, August of 2020, I was working on a destination event in Ghana. And of course, the world changed. We
Oh,
canceled that. So I
wow.
would absolutely love to do that. And I'm talking to some Memphians that live in Italy and maybe
Mm.
doing some travel experiences and events there. So maybe some international things under my belt coming
Hey,
up.
look, I love international travel.
Do you?
Oh
All
my
right. Well, you're the
good.
first one on the list when I have it together.
That's right. That's right. Invite me. I'm always like, yeah, I got my passport. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Okay.
I look forward to it. I
Yeah.
just recently
Hmm.
in the British Virgin Islands,
Okay.
they had their emancipation.
Wow.
And so August 1st, 1834,
Oh, wow.
British, declared all of their slaves free
Okay.
in their territories.
Mm.
And then the BVI is now, they are, free.
Okay.
They run their own government,
Wow.
but they're still a territory
Mhm.
of Britain. So every year they have emancipation,
Wow.
really throughout the Virgin Islands.
I
And
never considered that.
yeah, and
Wow.
so
Okay.
it's emancipation, and I guess it would be something like Juneteenth.
That's exactly what I was thinking about when you were explaining
It was
that.
Juneteenth. So this was my first time in the Virgin Islands
Okay.
in BVI because
Amongst all of that.
among
Wow.
all
Had
of
to have been
that.
amazing.
Yeah. So I didn't participate in all of the parties in the,
Of
the
course.
carnival. I was speaking at some church stuff.
Of course.
Yeah, but it was just an interesting thing.
Absolutely.
And so travel,
Yeah.
international. Yeah, I look
So
forward to
important.
being a part of what you would do in this next season
I'll
of your
definitely
life.
keep you posted.
Now, church life.
Yes.
Give some wisdom to churches because
Mm.
churches have become event driven.
Yes.
And there's probably some church folks that are watching, and we need to get our people back in.
I
We
know,
need to
we've
get our
gotten
people
so
back
used to virtual.
acclimated,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely.
what are some advice that you can give
Mhm.
to this in this new space that we find ourselves in?
Yeah, I think like with my business and signature events, you have to evaluate people where they are.
Mm.
None of us are the same from who we were before March 2020. We
Yeah.
all have changed. Our lives have changed. So how do we create a space that they need?
Mm.
Maybe surveying them. What do you
Okay.
feel that's missing from the
Okay.
church? What would you like to see? Does it need to be more entrepreneur driven? I know that's a new initiative at Golden Gate to create spaces and events around entrepreneurs. So paying
Okay.
attention to your congregation.
All right.
What's happening with them? What's happening with the kids? There's a young lady, 12 years old, has a lemonade business. This is kind of off the subject, but Be Chill Lemonade.
Mm.
This young lady is set up in the FedEx Forum. She's working with the Atlanta Hawks now.
Wow.
I'm like a 12-year-old.
Wow.
You found
From
your
Memphis?
calling
From
Memphis. Yes, Kayla Bean. You found your calling at 11.
At
She's
11.
an entrepreneur at 12. So even the kids, they're different. Maybe
Mhm.
figuring out what they need because the kids are the future.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You made mention of that. One of the things that we are proud of here at Brown, we call it our elite society, but it's us raising up entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And so grateful for Pinnacle. It's almost
Yeah.
like what is that show where they pitch their business?
Shark Tank.
Yes.
Okay.
So we actually take these young people
Okay.
through a series of that through weeks, and they get it, and then they make a pitch and actually get funded in order to start
Wow.
their own business.
That's exciting.
Yes. And so
Wow.
recently we bringing in the second class.
Mm.
Someone even from the first class was giving me some monogram towels that
So cool.
that now she's doing because of equipment that she's been able to purchase from all of that. So
That's
it is about
incredible.
So make sure that you survey the people,
Absolutely.
hear from the people,
Yes.
what their interests are,
Mhm.
where the needs are.
Yeah.
Focusing in on the young people and this
Absolutely.
next generation,
Yeah.
and you mentioned entrepreneurs, just raising up more entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. I don't think, again, my generation, we were taught to go to college, get a degree, work for this one company for 30 years. Obviously, that changed.
33 for me so
33.
far here at
Knock on
Brown.
wood. But yeah, and I think, starting in 2008, so many of us were laid off when the economy changed. So we had to pay attention to that and prepare people for what if, what happens the next time.
Wow.
Yeah.
This has been great.
Yes, I've enjoyed it.
I have as well. It's
Yeah.
been great getting a chance to meet you.
Yes.
Look, I'm thankful for each of you all joining us, even for this time of just talking with Cynthia today. And let me know what you think, and connect with me on my website, on social media, to be sure to subscribe to my e-newsletter so that you won't miss out on ways to live out your life outside of the box. I do want you to stay tuned for more conversation that will inspire you to do the unthinkable. And again, Cynthia Daniels, thank you so very much
Yes.
for being with us today, and looking forward. Look, Matter of fact,
Yes.
if someone is planning something
Yes.
and they need an event planner,
Yes.
can you give me your information, girl, so we can at least they can call Cynthia Daniels?
Absolutely. They can go to my website, cdcoevents.com.
cdcoevents.com. All right.
And they can fill out a form, let me know what they're trying to do, and I'll reach out to them the same day.
Is it any one particular area, or you do all kinds of events?
I really specialize in large scale events. So festivals, concerts, galas, that's my happy place.
Okay.
But I also do conferences and concerts and just smaller things. For instance, working with 100 Black men right now. So we're working on just monthly engagement with the organization. So it really kind of depends, and I can just meet everyone's needs. Now, I will say I do not do weddings. Weddings take a very special person. I do everything but weddings.
But weddings. All right. Well, look, you make sure support her, and we appreciate you joining us in this time. Have a great time.